pretty good. I'm very cozy. You guys don't look as cozy as me, but I am doing really good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Lauren, how are you?
Oh, great. Happy to be here.
Excellent. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, so pretty much everybody, I feel like by now, has probably watched the, Jenny Nicholson. 4-hour attempted deep dive into the Galactic Starcruiser, the Star Wars hotel. I never got to go. Sorry, poor. You guys went. Yeah.
We
Rich.
did.
Yeah. So
lucky.
I have so many questions. I have notes, and we are going to go through all of it. Oh, yeah, you didn't know we had notes.
I didn't know there was notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's notes. Yeah. So, first, let's talk about the marketing and stuff, because I know that Debbie, I think you obviously knew about it, but you didn't really go in knowing like how it was all going to be. You were just vibing.
Right.
And then Lauren, I think you knew a little bit more. So why don't you guys talk about first hearing about it? Because, we work in the Disney adjacent area, so everybody's been talking about it. So what were your thoughts going in?
So as soon as I heard there was going to be a Star Wars hotel, which I know it's not called that, but we call that on the street. But I was super excited being a Star Wars person, and I was like, I am so doing this no matter what.
Right.
And then when it actually became obviously announced that it was a Disney Vacation Club part, I reached out to Fidelity Resales and I was like, hey, do you guys want to come and do this with me? And Lauren was part of the team and Mia. So we 3 got to go and share a room. But the teasers that we were receiving, I wasn't super clear what it was going to be. I mean, I knew it was going to be a Star Wars hotel. I knew it was going to be an immersive theme.
Yeah.
But
they were a little vague about what it actually was going to be. I feel like they kind of presented this like really magical kind of experience.
Yeah.
But then didn't back it up.
Yeah.
Once you got there, there was the elements of like an immersive experience, but it wasn't presented to us in a way that people could go day one and understand exactly what was going on.
So did you do a little bit of research before you went? Debbie, you didn't. So you're just going
I didn't.
in.
The only thing that I had said to Lauren, I was like, we have to get costumes.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh,
I remember we were talking and I was like, we have to get costumes.
Yeah.
I so want to play the part. I want to be completely involved. I want to like do this like 100%.
Right.
So
that's like the best part of it is like the immersive experience.
Yeah.
But
like if we're going to do it, let's do it.
Right,
we're
exactly.
doing it.
Yeah.
And I was so into it.
Right.
I was like, here's my costumes. And I sent you guys a couple of like pictures. I'm like, what do you think is going to vibe? And I actually was trying to pick between 2 costumes and I couldn't. So I picked both, which I'm so happy I did.
You had time for both too.
Because it was 2 days, which I didn't really, I just really didn't understand. Not only from the beginning, but even in the middle, I felt like I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for you and Mia, because I chalked it off like, okay, well, they're, younger than me. And, not that I'm super old, but I felt like older.
You're what, like 27?
Yeah, 29.
Okay.
29.
Sorry.
29.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're in their early 20s.
And I'm 22,
up there.
So right.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, well, they're hipper than me and they're more techie than me. So when we were in the experience, I honestly must have said to myself like a dozen times, thank God they're with me, because I would be so lost because I did not understand what was going on at all.
Going into it, I did like very bare minimum research because I wanted to experience it, but I also wanted to be prepared
like
a little
raw?
bit. Especially because I'm the kind of person that will look up a menu before I go to a restaurant.
We literally did that tonight.
So I was like a little concerned about the food situation, not because I'm like particularly picky, but I just wanted to know. And so there was like blue shrimp. And I was like, that would have really shocked me to my core had I not known about that. So I went into it being like, okay, yes, blue shrimp. Yeah. I understand what's happening here.
All right.
It's shrimp.
So like I was reading some blogs and I know they sent some influencers right when the hotel opened. Yeah. So I saw a couple of like TikToks of people kind of experiencing it.
You see the High School Musical girl? That is like seared into my brain.
What High School Musical girl?
The High School Musical girl with the curly hair. She's like dancing.
Pop Lock girl?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's like, that's like the one that's like
At the
seared
Star
into
Wars
my
Hotel?
brain. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I did
like
not
before
see
COVID.
that.
Yeah. So like I was living in Southwest Florida when they had announced it. And I was like, I don't care how much it is. I'm going.
going.
Like we're going. And then
have
it
to
was
go.
like, it's $7,000. And I was like, let
I
me
do
think
care how
about
much
it.
it
Yeah.
is.
It's like, but still, like I think like it, before they announced that they closed, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I've got time to go. Like whatever.
Right.
So I was going to wait until like my nieces were a little bit older because it's a Disney hotel. They've been here for 50 years, like whatever. Yeah. But obviously not.
That did not happen. That did not happen.
So when you guys arrived there, how did you get, like, physically, where was it? Like, I know everybody kind of knows now, but what did it feel like? Because you kind of had to go back a lot, so you're kind of seeing.
So they have a launch port, I think is what they were calling it, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So you pulled in, it was directly behind Hollywood Studios, and you pulled in, I think you were going through the cast parking lot, which was a little bit strange, but then you go through security, and they were dressed in full, like, Star Wars outfits, and then you pull up where it kind of looks like, I don't know.
It's a very industrial
right.
kind
All
of
concrete.
resort.
Yeah, you pull up and it was like just a bay. So that's where your luggage was getting checked in. It's kind of like a hotel lobby, but not really because it was just the hallway.
Yeah.
And so they took our baggage, but it took a little while for them to actually let us upstairs.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've heard too, because you have that elevator or like whatever that like takes you up there.
It's not an elevator.
Yes.
It's a spaceship.
Sorry.
It took us to the Galactic Starcruiser. How dare you?
I thought you were gonna do like a Star Trek joke where it's like it's not an elevator, it's an orbital lift. It's completely different. Yeah.
No, I don't know what that is.
Sorry.
No.
Wrong French.
We're Star Wars girls.
Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah. But so you get there, and one thing that I heard, like, before you get into your spaceship to go up to like your cruise ship,
Right.
They're very small capacity transports.
Yes.
Right.
So you had to like wait. So
like when you're outside, it didn't seem spectacular. I mean, obviously they had the Galactic Starcruiser emblem on the side of the wall, and it was very
it was cool.
industrial.
You're like, we're doing this.
And we were dressed up in our costumes, so we're doing like, almost like Charlie's Angel stuff, but not quite, but pretty similar.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't think we had to wait super long.
Right.
I mean,
I know some people were there
May.
before we were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was
some
in the
people
month of May, so
I
it was
think
a little
people
warm.
thought if they got there earlier, they would be let in earlier.
Yeah.
But they
It was
were
a hard
kind of
no.
specific in the email confirmation, like, hey, this is when you should show up.
Oh, so they gave you windows?
Yeah. I don't know if it was windows, but they were like, this is when you should show up.
Yeah, it was not one of those situations where, so a lot of times at the parks, it's like, okay, we open at, 10 a.m.
And then you can get to
some
rope
people
drop
get there
like
at
8.
9 and they want to
They're
do
like,
rope drop.
we're here.
Right.
But it's
and
like,
sometimes
no,
they let you in a little early.
Yeah, they're like, fine, girl.
It was hard,
Yeah.
no. It was
not.
Check-in's at 1, and we don't open the hallway to the teleport to outer space until 1.
Well, one thing that we do all the time, we literally did today, we're sitting here, by the way, we are actually in Disney's Vero Beach resort. So that's where we're sitting. You're like, oh my gosh, guys, is that Key West? No. We're in Vero Beach.
Yeah.
So, anywho, but so we do that all the time because we always get there early. Because they're like, oh, your room's going to be done by 4. And we're like, so we'll get there at 9. Yeah. We'll vibe. We'll do all the stuff.
Well, today
we'll
was a great day to get there early because we got to do the beach and the pool and the barbecue.
So maybe that's something if you're used to going to Disney resorts, you're like, okay, well, they say we're going to go up to the ship. But I mean, even in my mind, I'd be like, okay, if we're going to like a space terminal before we go up to our cruise ship, let's vibe at the space terminal. I bet it's cool. And then you get there and you're like,
it's just an outdoor space.
Yeah.
And like a hallway, a dark
It was
hallway.
Outdoors.
It
wasn't
outside.
even
That's tough.
inside.
There was
like a theme.
Yeah, I don't think you could even go into the indoor part until you were going straight into the elevator.
No.
Yeah. So I think the fact
But it wasn't a long wait. I mean, I was pretty impressed by that. It wasn't like an hour
when we were supposed to.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, like,
we followed instructions.
They don't have a restaurant that's open that you can go lounge at before it starts. Like,
and
or even a lounge area.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they have lunches
outdoor.
at this time.
Yeah.
This activity is at this time. So there was no pre-planned things.
And one thing I think I
early.
read, I think like watched it in the video, but I think I also read it in other things, is the really strict timelines is, you have your activities, but also those actors are not actors 24/7. Like they're paid employees. So they're like working from this time to this, and everything has to be. And honestly, like, it's cool. In theory, it should make sense. But having I feel like that's where also things can kind of get jumbled, because you're going there with not only humans who are naturally just like, ugh, you know, like go over there, but also like kids. So like things can get all thrown around. But
well, it's so funny that you said that, because, you know, we know that the employees, the cast members, they are there and you can only work so many hours a day. But I never saw a shift change personally.
No.
Like
but that's something Disney's always great at too.
Right.
Yeah,
like
the characters were always the characters.
That's
from daytime to nighttime, I didn't see a difference.
That's why they're so strict on the timelines. But the timeline and the timing of all of the activities is kind of my biggest gripe with it. Is that if you missed one thing, you felt like you missed an entire chunk of the story.
That seems really stressful.
But the thing is, they assign you a time to do your bridge training. They assign you a time to do your Jedi lightsaber training. And so
which was the best.
So if you're there, there's also the character storyline going on.
Yeah.
So we had our lightsaber training at the same time that like one of the biggest things in our storyline was happening.
Oh, snap.
And so we were late to that, but just by design. And so that's kind of where it felt like it kind of fumbled for me personally, because I felt like we put so much time into understanding what was happening. Like we finally understood kind of what the mission of our character that we followed was.
I never did.
Well, some of us did. And then I told her what we were doing.
Yeah, she's like, come on.
This is what he wants and this is what we're doing for him.
We have to go smuggle.
Yeah, I was more of a follower.
Right.
Not a leader.
But I felt like there was a couple of things where I was like, oh, I missed out on like this whole big, like one of the pinnacle of his mission we missed. And I was like, because we were where we were supposed to be. And I was like, that kind of just sucked in that regard.
Yeah.
So you guys get to your like launch terminal. You get in your transporter to go up to your
which was super
spaceship.
cool. Which was super cool.
So that's that's pretty immersive. Like you're there, you're vibing, you get in, and so you're all in. You're like, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So do they take you directly to your rooms when you get up to the ship? Or okay,
Yeah,
so what did you feel about? How'd you feel about the rooms? Because look at this room that we're in. We're in like basically a 2-bedroom lock off situation.
Well,
how did you feel?
Talking about Jenny's 4-hour deep dive, which I'm gonna say, fabulous, loved it.
Yeah.
When you recommended that to me, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to watch
said the same. I know.
I'm not going to watch a 4-hour YouTube.
I sat down, I turned on my TV, and it was already on YouTube, and I said, what even? I'm not watching anything for 4 hours. And then I read and I was like, fine, I'll just turn it on when I make coffee. And then I'm sitting down and I'm like,
it was so good.
5
out of 5 stars. It's excellent. She's witty. She's funny. She is complimentary when she can be.
And she was thorough.
And she's thorough, and she's very critical when she can be. You know, but that's obviously
and I think
just
that's on her personal thing too, which I think it's like
so
it seemed like
funny.
everything like things just kind of didn't happen the way she was expecting.
Right.
Whereas
and she kept changing costumes. It was so funny.
And so we watched it and I was like, I have to talk to them because I know we've talked about it a lot, just like offhand. And you guys, you were like, it was expensive, but it was so cool. Like it was so
cool. Right. It was.
Like I feel like a lot of people would watch that and be like, everyone had that same situation, but you guys like had.
I mean, we had a great time.
Yeah, like
no, it was
vibing.
fantastic. But I did resonate so much with some of the things with a lot of things that she said, really, because I felt like I was lost a lot of the time.
Confused.
I felt like you and Mia really kind of had a better grip on what you're supposed to do and what we're supposed to do. Like we went actually over to Hollywood Studios to Batu. And you guys are like, oh, we have to scan these crates. And I'm like, what are you talking? I didn't know. I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know. And then we did it, but I don't know why we were doing it.
Me neither. I knew we had to, and then it didn't show for anything.
I was like, I'm not really sure why we're doing this.
It helped in our mission on the ride, but the ride is pre-programmed. So it's not like if we had done it or not, it would have affected how the ride plays out.
Yeah.
You know?
So like, let's start with the room. So you guys just got up to your thing, and then so let's talk. Rooms.
I like the room.
So so
I
it
totally
was
like the room.
Let's see, we were talking about price, and your guys' ended up. It was 3 people, ended up being, would you say like $72, $75, or something like that.
So when we booked it, we went. Now I don't know how Jenny went, but I'm a DVC owner, and it was in the very, very beginning. If you were a DVC owner, you had to book with points. Plus cash, because
because
no one would have enough points to book
for that
thing. So I don't remember, and I swear to goodness, when you said you wanted to talk about this tonight, I was looking through my old emails because this was in May of 2022 that we went, and I was like, how much did we pay for the whole trip? But
I remember.
I think it was something, and pardon me if I'm, a little bit off, but it was like 200.
It's actually, we have your bank statement right here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It was like,
bring out your accountant.
Yeah.
You had to have 200 points plus $5,000. I'm generalizing, but it was pretty much close to that. It was like $5,000 cash plus 200 points. And this was right after COVID. So when I called to book, I had to borrow points from the future year. And this was because the points were restricted. You couldn't borrow more than 50. So I had to talk to the customer service manager to get extra points. So
you're making money moves.
Borrow.
You're moving things.
Yeah. I'm like playing the stock market on my DVC points in order to get the Star Wars room, which we did.
Right.
And we got basic standard.
Yeah. So it was basically kind of like the studio looking one with 100%, the 2 cubbies
but I thought
and
it
a
was
queen.
Cool.
It was, the theming was great for how much
it
you
was
pay.
small, but not crazy.
Yeah, it was really nice. I mean, like all the amenities were really nice. The theming was great. I will say the beds were really like rock hard.
Yeah. Well, they were
like
brand
that.
new.
But
there
even,
was no softness yet.
But like even so, it was like you're paying that much. Like obviously you're gonna get a small room. They want it to feel real.
Mm-hmm. But I felt like it was a spaceship room.
Right.
So
but I feel like you probably could have had a cushier bed.
Yeah.
Well, I slept in one of the pods.
Yeah, you slept in the bed.
I actually liked it.
Did the doors on the, was there a pod, was it always open, or could you like close
always
the whole thing?
Open. Always open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just,
but
so what'd you think about the window? Because I think for me, if
cool.
I, like, we're going to try to, like, next time we go to Epcot, I keep forgetting that space restaurant exists and we have to go. But, so I feel like the window, I would get a huge kick out of that. Like anytime seeing a window, I'm like, yeah.
The only thing I'll say is that in the morning, it felt like nighttime just because there was no sun coming in.
There's no
we had to
real
wake
window.
up pretty early for our day to start just based on how they were scheduling us.
I feel like it'd be really
and so
disorienting.
I was like, oh my God, why am I waking up so early? It was 8 a.m. And I was like,
it's noon. You've missed
Right.
You've missed
everything.
half of your stuff.
Everyone's gone.
The
hotel is closed.
You didn't save the ship.
You missed late
Everyone's
checkout.
actually gone.
Yeah.
You wake up, first order's running everything. All the guests are like
like,
tied up in the corner. You're like, oh my
what
God.
happened when I was
It's like,
sleeping?
oh no, we missed all of our things. You have a bunch of missed AI calls. You're like, damn. Yeah,
Oopsie,
consequences.
Wasted my money.
Yeah. So, what would you say like your favorite thing was about the room?
About the room?
The room?
Yeah, the room.
I think just the theming.
Yeah,
was just
100%
cool.
the theming. Like the window itself, there was a glare. Like when I tried to take a picture,
Right.
You really, I don't know. It was
hard
like
to capture.
it was like a screen in front of it, like a window in front of a window, but it wasn't glass. It was almost like
probably a plexiglass plastic.
So that's kind of how,
which it didn't have to be. Like you couldn't get a clear picture of outer space.
I think it might
You
be,
know?
and I could be totally wrong. I really don't.
Storm windows.
Yeah, I really don't want to like open myself up to cyberbullying here, but I do think that those windows, so you know the Harry Potter train like at Universal?
Yes.
So when you're looking out the window and you can kind of look forward and back.
Yeah.
So it's a window and then it's kind of like
A hologram window.
and then it's like projected out there. So I think it's a little bit like that. But I think the reason that on camera it can kind of look funny is because it's literal blacks, and blacks are really hard to like stay black when you're like getting in there. So I don't know, maybe that's why it's kind of like a window in a window, like instead of just like
Something
a flat
like that.
screen. Because you know, kids, the first thing kids are going to go up and it'd be like, so you can't just like actually slap a real screen on there,
Right.
Because kids suck and they're just going to like punch through it. We're in space, Dad.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like maybe not your least favorite, but something that you were like, oh, that kind of bums me out about the room,
About the room?
if anything?
Well, I think the robot that was interactive
Oh yeah, did
on
you
the
talk
screen,
to her? She seems sassy.
but
She
I
seemed
don't
fun.
think that worked very well.
It didn't do what I think they probably intended it to do.
Maybe it was supposed to be like a Hey Disney type thing. You think eventually?
It did. It actually
what it was
felt more
supposed to
like
be.
that than I think they wanted it to be more of a back and forth. You ask her, "Hey, what's going on the ship?" and
But
she'd
it
give you
didn't
some
work.
gossip. But it just didn't seem like that's what was happening.
Yeah.
She was just kind of saying, "Oh, there's trouble in the atrium," or something like that. "Hi, welcome to your room." Blah blah blah. But the
She
way
goes, "Oh, you're an explorer,"
right,
but there was no interaction, and then it
Right.
would just cut off. And I was
Gotcha.
like,
yeah.
"Hmm."
It felt like
I
it could have been
know.
like it could have pushed
Chuck
the
E.
story.
Cheese animatronics, just
Right,
kind of saying the
right.
same thing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just like an
Canned
animated thing with
responses,
like
yeah.
3
okay.
responses, and that
Yeah,
was it.
it felt like it could have been more interactive.
Yeah. That would have been super cool if you could have had a conversation with a robot. Like,
Right.
so speaking of robots on this ship, they did have R2D2, and they did have the
Was it
little
R2D2 or was it SK? SK 620?
it is SK.
Yeah,
Yes.
SK. Yeah.
You're so
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes,
He
it is
looks like
SK.
R2D2, but he's
Yes,
the-
it was
the-
100%
He looks
SK.
like R2D2 if R2D2 was a
Not
Florida
R2D2.
Gators fan. Yeah.
Very
like
that.
R2D2 goes to college at UF
Right.
and he's just like down bad for
it was
him.
100% SK.
Yep.
But if you have animated robots, you're not in a situation where you're having a labor situation or a timing situation. They could have had.
Well, they have a guy.
They
like,
could have had 100 of those
well, they
around the
have-
ship, which I think.
Well,
would
they
have
have
been
a guy
super cool.
with the remote control that's
Well,
like driving
of
him
course.
around. He's like,
Yeah, but there
over
could have been a
there.
bunch of those.
Oh yeah, you can rotate
'Cause there was
those.
one.
I guess you could rotate.
There's
Yeah,
just
There
one.
could have been more droids.
That was the only droid I saw.
Right.
And you would think, like, I don't know, at least at the depot, like, this is just me headcanon. Like, if you're waiting at the depot, whenever I'm watching, like, different Star Wars stuff, it's busy. It's a busy train station.
Yeah.
Right.
Stuff's going on.
There's a
droids
lot
are
of droids.
everywhere.
Right.
There's zipping
Right.
on. And I know that that's not conceivable to be real because
Right, but
like
space
look,
is
we're in
very
Central
busy.
Florida. Yeah. But it's also kind of like, oh, that'd be kind of, or at least like some screens where it's like a little hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
Like we're at like a,
Intergalactica transportation would probably be busy.
I mean, think of the lines during the Solo movie. He had to wait a while
Right.
to get up there. So,
Right.
I don't know. But
But the ship was supposed to be like a cruise ship, so it was a vacation spot.
like luxury liner, you're right.
right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
So like you're not going around with the pores
Yeah,
and the
SK
dregs
was-
of the
was
galaxy.
the-
So
Yeah.
I guess
Ship's
droids don't want a
droid.
vacation.
I guess not. I guess
So was
not.
he like the astromech? Like, did he have much like lore going on? Was he repairing the ship like with that his little job, or he was just vibing?
Yeah,
Okay,
he had a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? Don't know. But
Yeah.
he did have one.
all right, good.
Couldn't tell
Yeah.
you.
So let's talk story and scheduling. We kind of touched that a little bit, but when you guys first got there, you went through like the orientation of this is a play alarm. This is the alarm where you should really like freak out.
Right,
Oh,
right.
did you guys have a little panic room? Did you go in there in your room?
I don't
Oh.
remember that.
There was one, but I don't think we went in it.
I don't
Okay.
remember.
Or you could have the
I would have been
actual
afraid
window.
to go in there. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Because I would have been
interesting.
like, I would have just got in there for a second just to
be
see.
like,
Take my pick.
the outside-
in
Yeah.
case we get invaded by space aliens,
Right.
this is
Yeah.
where I'm gonna hide.
Right. Right.
Just to know
Right.
my zone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We had the
I didn't know about it.
orientation. What do they call it on cruise ships?
Your muster to learn your muster
right,
station.
right, right.
Yeah.
So then we learned our like team leader. So that was like introducing the characters.
Cool.
So we met the captain of the ship. We met.
She was great.
Yeah, she was great. And then we met. I can't remember. She was like the cruise director.
Oh,
type.
yeah.
Lenka Mock, I believe, is her name. Don't know her title. We met her. We met, and then Wraith Cole, who's like the rebel, was kind of walking around, kind of yelling things, being a little sassy. And then we met.
He was the smuggler guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
He
The
became
guy
our-
that, like, the producer for the pop star, right? Or not the producer, but
He was like a.
he like was work because
Yeah,
they were both
yeah,
like
yeah.
working
He's like a
together to
promoter
like
kind of
steal
thing,
the Twilight thing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so during that whole thing is when we met most of the characters. And then we met the, what's his name? The bad guy.
I'm so bad with names.
I know.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I know Wraith Cole, and we met Saja.
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 was the Jedi.
Jedi
Yeah.
girl.
Leaders, yeah.
and then we met the captain, and we did see Chewbacca, which
Lieutenant Croy?
Croy. Yeah.
Croy, is a lieutenant. Anyway, he was the
Bad boy Croy. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
He's the baddie.
Bad boy Croy.
Yeah, he was there.
They reopen. He just has nails. he's
my gosh,
he's a baddie now. Yeah.
I love that for him.
I would vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like the first introduction to the storyline and everything. And then
Would you say like for a Disney resort, like, and we went to Polynesian in December during Christmas, so we know a flooded resort. How did it feel for you guys? Because you're in a relatively small-ish building
Yeah.
for 2 days with the same people. Did it feel overcrowded, or was it
No,
pretty
I didn't
cool?
think
No,
so.
it felt like the right amount of people for it to
Yeah.
feel full, but not like
Not like, oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah, not like Magic Kingdom.
But
I
then,
would 100% agree with that. It wasn't like deserted at all.
Yeah.
But it wasn't overcrowded where you were just like waiting in line or trying
Yeah.
to push through to
Right,
get down
right,
a hallway.
right.
So
It
that's
was
good.
a very perfect amount.
right. And it was also nice having a smaller but big crowd. You recognize people. So like you're passing them and you're like, oh, I know he's hanging out with Croy. And like, oh, maybe I shouldn't,
Don't
blah, blah, blah.
trust. Yeah.
Or they're hanging out with so-and-so. So it's just kind of fun to have like
Yeah.
fake enemies.
Right.
There was, like this one,
Like by
there
the
was a
second
one little
night.
kid who was like giving us the stink eye every single time he saw us because he knew who we were hanging out with. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
yeah. All right.
He was throwing fever.
Right.
He was
So,
throwing
so,
fever.
so it's just like a little
Hold my
funny.
earrings,
Yeah.
Debbie.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but
I just went
like
through
the
lightsaber
second
training.
day, we actually start to, get to know other passengers on
Right.
the ship. So we actually started like having conversations
Yeah.
outside of the play,
Right.
and outside of
Oh,
each
cool.
other.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, oh, and they're in costume, and I
Yeah.
it's so funny. So I have to share this little tidbit. So the very first day we're on the ship, and of course I'm in my costume, and then someone's like, "Oh," which I didn't know it was going to be completely immersive. I didn't understand the rules, and someone's like, "Oh, what planet are you from?"
You're like,
Earth,
And
girl.
I didn't do my homework, and I was like, "Earth," and I got like,
Oh, fake fan.
right.
Yeah.
Fake
Get her out of here.
fan.
and it was
She doesn't
literally
send her back down.
Poser.
Yeah, I think they just walked away from me.
But then
And I was
some
like,
people went very
Course not.
intense and they had full backstories. I saw,
Yeah.
I was in some
I
Facebook.
didn't know I was
Because
supposed to
to
have
be
a
fair,
backstory.
it is a LARP. It's a LARP
Oh, it
activity.
is,
It's
yeah.
a 48-hour LARP
It is
activity.
if you
And
want it to
so
be.
some people are like really into it. And
It is
they've
if you
done-
want it to be, yeah.
They've like lived and breathed Star Wars LARP. They're like, now it's officially sanctioned,
Yeah.
licensed,
I didn't
and
know it was like
funded.
Comic-Con.
I'm in
It was interesting
Yeah.
to see
didn't know.
like the scope of the
We're here for my 7-year-old son, and then I've been
the
waiting
people
my
that,
whole life.
that were
Yeah.
like, I need to do this. Like my life depends on it, and I have a whole backstory. My whole family that's not here, they have a backstory.
That's
the
not
whole
here.
thing. And then there was like the
There was
family
like
of the family of
goofy
4.
me, and I was like, I came
The
here
family of
from
4.
Orlando.
Yeah, Debbie's like, why is the shrimp blue?
But then there's
I'm
the family
from
of 4
Florida.
that are wearing a Star Wars T-shirt,
Love.
and you're like, love that. They love Star Wars, but man, we could be so
It's a
like,
spectrum.
because you kind of forget.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking around and you're seeing Debbie in full costume. You're seeing everyone else in full costume, and then you turn around, someone's in denim shorts, and you're like, oh, that's
You
fine.
could have
That's
been
fine.
so much more little Timmy, but you know.
Right.
right. But then
Yeah.
you kind of are like, oh,
But they never said to us. I
Right.
mean, they definitely never said to me. It's highly advised that you wear a costume.
Right.
But
It
one
wasn't
thing is
even
like,
really
if you're going to
projected
spend
at all.
$7,000 doing anything, we're
Yeah, but
doing
we
it, you know?
were talking about wearing costumes just because we thought it would be fun.
Right.
It wasn't because it was highly advised.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I get on the ship and I'm looking at families that were not wearing. I mean, oh my God, there were like little tiny Princess Leia's and little tiny Rey's, and it was like so the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life. And I'm like, oh, they got the memo.
I bet not dressing up though really fueled sales in the gift shop.
yeah. I
To,
mean,
like, go
you
and
could
get some
buy full
uniforms.
costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
true.
have to say.
Or when you go to Batu, you're like, oh my God.
yeah, one of the things
need a
about
cloak.
Yeah.
the gift shop had the best merch I've ever seen at any
it was really
DVC property, resort, park. I mean, it was spot on.
It was really cool.
Bad A. SS. It was so good.
SS.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it was cool.
I have a credit card, and do I want to spend $5,000 because I want all of these outfits
Right.
because they're so beautiful.
Right.
I mean, it was
They were
just like
cool.
really cool. Everything was super cool in the merch.
So with like the app and all that stuff, So overall, like your story looks like you spent most of the time with Smuggler, the Wraith Cole guy.
Right.
So was that like the main story you were doing? So did you miss, like while you were at lightsaber training, did you miss the main event? Is that what you said?
There was something that happened in like the lobby atrium area that we missed while we were at lightsaber training.
Was it the Rey and Kylo Ren fight or no?
No,
that's at the
it
end,
wasn't
right?
the finale.
Yeah.
I think everyone was clear for the finale.
Yeah.
But there was some sort of something that we missed. It wasn't like it ruined our whole time, but it was like,
You're like,
oh, I wish
man.
I was there for that. Because when we joined the group, everyone was like sneaking around. They're like, oh, we did it. And I was like, we did what?
You did what?
Yeah.
So that was.
We're now
that was
Jedis.
it. Yeah. Like, I know how to use a lightsaber, so if you
Yeah,
need
so
help.
like,
Right. Yeah, there was something in the bridge room. There was like a invader something that happened. I don't know because I was not there.
so other than missing that, did the story make sense to you, or did it feel like more of just like, okay, we'll be here. That was cool. What's going on? Which
Right.
Debbie, you were like mostly like feeding, you know, like
I was just like,
Yeah.
what are we doing now?
yeah.
Where do
But
we
did
go?
the story
But, like,
make sense?
You know,
or-
the what was the climate controlled room?
Yeah. It was like an
so-
outdoor space, indoor space, but they didn't
Which
kind of
I
tell you what it
loved.
was.
I love
looked
that
really
room.
pretty.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
I went in that room, I was like, "Oh, this is so calm." I just felt like
Right.
this is
Yeah, it
this
was
is
awesome.
my
Yeah.
people right here. But,
But
there was no
unless you
people
were
in it.
there,
It was empty.
when the action was happening, you didn't know that there was like
It was like
an
Jedi
experience.
stuff.
You could
I
do
didn't know.
rock
you can like move the rocks.
Yeah.
moving kind of something, which we were not there for. So I learned about
I just
that
thought it was a really pretty
afterwards.
place.
Right. It was cool. I mean, you're like, oh, I'm outside, but I'm inside.
It was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite rooms.
yeah,
for
it
sure.
was. It was really
Hands
cool.
down.
Yeah, it was a great place to take pictures too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the feud. The food. I just said it weird. I don't know why.
The feud.
The feud between
Yeah,
the
go
who are you
on.
feuding
The
with?
dark
Yeah.
side and the
Go
light
on.
side.
So
Yeah,
the
the
food. So and I could see where it's going. We've talked about it. So how did you feel about the food overall? Because this whole experience, you know, and Disney food's usually pretty good. Like I don't think that we've ever like gone to a resort, eaten somewhere, and we were like, that sucked. You know. So how overall
I'll let you answer
breakfast,
first.
lunches, dinner. How do you feel?
I personally am I would, maybe some people would disagree with me. I'm kind of an adventurous eater in terms of like blue shrimp. I was like, well, it's probably going to just taste like regular shrimp, so I'm going to
Yeah.
eat it. But I know some people will be like, huh,
Yeah.
no way. So a lot of the stuff was presented in a unique way because it was supposed to look like
Funky,
food
outer
from
space.
this planet, you know?
Yeah.
So it was regular food, but presented in a way that made it look irregular. So I think that turned a lot of people off. For me, I was like, oh, that's fun. There's like some
See, I would
delicious
like
bao
that.
buns.
Yeah.
There was the blue shrimp.
Disney loves
was
their bao
actually
buns.
Delicious.
The blue shrimp was delicious.
It's just cocktail shrimp.
I think
Gorge.
just me personally, I did not like most of the food. No. Because they had the peanut butter and jelly
No, thank you.
balls with the green dust on the outside.
Right.
But it didn't taste like a peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
It tasted like
And if you hear any laughing in the background, we have our producer Maddie, and
our producer Maddie's
she's
laughing.
currently like
And
dying.
she's a picky eater,
Yeah.
so she's like, yes, girl.
Yeah.
Tell them. She's like,
No.
That food
I personally would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give the food a 3. And that's harsh. That's harsh. That is really harsh. No, it's very harsh.
Lauren,
my
when you're
God.
done clutching your pearls, would you like to rebut that?
I just
I didn't like any of it.
Right.
Like the breakfast lunch, I would say the blue shrimp was outstanding, and the second night we had filet mignon or steak, whatever it was.
Could you order
was
there? Like you sit down and you order, or
No, it
did
was just
They
like,
just brought
it was
you
presented to you.
They brought you the
menu
okay.
stuff,
Like,
and it was buffet.
family style, like Ohana style. Like
Yeah,
you just
Yeah,
don't
it
bring
was
it.
buffet.
Okay.
Ask for more.
If you said,
Right.
"Oh, I
want
love
more
the
of the-
blue
yeah.
shrimp," they would bring you more blue
Keep it
shrimp.
coming.
Right,
Keep it coming.
right.
Yeah.
But
I just loved that it kind of made the experience more immersive.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, it's not just chicken tenders being put down.
Correct. Yeah.
'Cause
Like
that
I'm in
would
this
bum me out.
restaurant
Yeah.
where there's is she a Twi'lek?
The singer,
Yeah.
the Twilight, yeah.
What's her name? Don't know.
I don't remember. And then her backup singer, I
I
don't
do know
remember that. Please be
His name is
nice.
Sandro.
The
the guy that plays guitar?
Oh, him. Yeah, but the other singer that's the same species as Greedo.
Oh, I loved her.
Yeah, with the animatronic head. Yeah.
See, I was not prepared to do this podcast today. I should have remembered all their names. They're all going to come to me, and I will be yelling them out as soon as I remember them. So
it's okay.
Anyway.
The mics will be off, so it doesn't matter.
I'll just be yelling them in my bedroom in the middle of the night.
2 o'clock in the morning.
It's better to have it off the cuff.
Turn on the lights.
We're doing it again.
Yeah.
But I just really liked that they were presented in like such a cool way.
Yeah.
There was like black goo on a plate, and I was like, "Whoa, what's that?"
I
Yeah.
love themed food. It could taste like sand.
But
and
I think that they were
up.
adding some spices to things to make it be funky when it really didn't need to be funky. Like spice-wise, I think they could have had food coloring like the blue shrimp. It's like, yeah, that makes it funky. So now it tastes like shrimp and it's blue.
But
so
I liked that
perfect.
it kind of tasted like food that I'd never had.
But you didn't want blue shrimp with
2 sides of the same coin here.
Mustard.
This is really good.
Right.
I like the 2 different
On it.
things.
But I was the minority in that because Mia. But she also doesn't eat a lot of food. She has a shellfish allergy, so she didn't
that's
eat
tough.
the blue shrimp. Devastating because it was the best thing there. She doesn't eat red meat, which was also good. So she was like,
I'm sorry. Why was shellfish allergy? I'm sorry. Our producer's laughing in the back. Can you
What's
talk
wrong with a
about why
shellfish
a
allergy?
shellfish allergy is so hilarious?
No, I'm just laughing because I wouldn't eat any of them.
Yeah, gotcha.
I told you. That's why she was laughing so hard. She was like,
I
yeah,
wouldn't eat either.
I get it.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, but even like the breakfast, like the peanut butter ball, I got the peanut, and I love a peanut butter and jelly. Who doesn't like a PB&J?
Right.
And I ate it. It just was
you not?
terrible.
What did you think about the lounge?
not good.
Because everything I've seen, the lounge looks so cool, so
so fun.
chill, and we love a cocktail
spent
bar. We love a
quite a
lounge.
bit of
We spent most of our time in the lounge.
It looks so fun.
Well, especially
because, to be fair, whenever we're at any resort, we spend most of our time in the lounge there.
But
so.
the lounge was open until like 2 a.m.
And you could get whatever drink. Oh no, not included with alcohol.
It was not
No, we
included, which
spent
is
a lot of money in the lounge.
but the
the
lounge
food
was
was,
open until
right?
like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
the
And then we
snackies.
had to wake up at like 7 to go over to Hollywood Studios.
I don't
So
know, get
we
your
were
hours in, though,
exhausted
you know?
on day 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we left, I felt like a shell of a woman, which makes no sense because we were there for like a day and a half. But I was like,
Where have
don't,
I been?
I
Yeah.
don't feel like
Yeah.
I'm on Earth, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, the
It was
lounge,
part of the outer space
the lounge
experience.
was so fun. Oh,
How
I
was
love
the
the
jet
lounge.
lag from
I love
going
the
into
lounge.
space? Was it okay? Did it
Like
really
I
mess
said,
you guys
shell
up?
of a woman.
Yeah.
Well,
the jet
really
lag's
takes a
pretty
toll on the
tough.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, when you land back in space, you can't scuba dive for like 72
Yeah,
hours.
getting
Right,
used
right,
to
right,
the
right,
gravity.
right.
I think
Right.
that's
They tell
one
you
thing that I feel like none of the influencers have really
one
talked
talks about that.
And like how much of an adjustment it has to be like for your bodies because it's
Right.
a quick 48
Right.
hours up and straight back down. And
I think it
Right.
makes
But, like,
you
it's one
younger.
thing-
I
yeah.
think it,
Right.
I think
I
it
think
kind
so
I was
too.
feeling soft
Yeah.
and supple afterwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just
you
it's-
don't age when you're in space.
but it's a
Right.
tough adjustment.
The gravity
when you get up there and back.
They don't tell you about the
and-
gravity that you have to get used to.
That's
up
what I'm
there. It's
saying.
just a
Like the
little
second
confusing.
you get,
Yeah.
and then you're like, go up there, you lost 30, come back down, you
Right.
gain that 30 back.
Right.
And nobody really talks about like the mental toll that must
I came
take
back
on
and my
you.
children were 45 years old.
Yeah. It's literally, you're Matthew McConaughey in that
You're
library.
like, oh, you're older
just
than
like,
me.
oh my god,
this is a
yeah.
weird dynamic.
So my children are now my parents.
Yeah.
I haven't aged, but everybody else did.
Yeah. Anyway, so what did you eat in the same like dining room for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or was breakfast like just grab some stuff and move on? Okay.
The breakfast was a grab and go type
Okay.
of thing. They had a
continental.
more like
Or
full.
What would they call space continental?
I don't know.
Well,
You tell me. They did have like a full spread. They did have like a full spread of like hot foods, peanut butter balls, all those things. But then upstairs they had like grab and go granola bars, bars of like
See, I'm not a breakfast eater.
Right.
I'll get a banana and a granola for later when I regret not eating breakfast, and I'm
right.
out.
Yeah, they had fruit and like coffee and tea upstairs, but then you can go downstairs and get like a full meal if you wanted to.
Like the breakfast buffet thing.
Right.
But I will say, like Jenny was saying, her table, she was behind a pole.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic table.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like 3 from the stage.
And
on
again,
the other
I think that's
side.
just enormous bad luck because
Yeah, it
it
was
seemed
just
like
bad luck.
everybody else is just like loving it.
Right.
neat, like
No, it was
love it. And then
fantastic.
it's
It was
just
so
like,
fun.
damn.
We
yeah.
had a great
Yeah.
table. The service, I will say 100% 5 out of 5
Was
stars.
great. Was great.
Fantastic service.
Remembered our drinks
The
and-
whole entire staff on the whole entire chef
Was amazing.
Was really like spot on.
Amazing.
The characters knew all of our names.
Yeah.
Like,
Which was crazy because there was quite
yeah,
a
they
few
were
people
like,
there.
oh. Like they called us by name within, maybe a couple hours. Like not when
It's
we
like
got on the
it's
chef.
like below decks space.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
like okay, well these are the primaries, and then they talk,
Right.
they like learn you, and
Yeah.
then like okay, well, I feel like in any room, whenever Debbie is on a vacation. It's like people remember Debbie.
She's a
For once,
memorable
I think
woman.
everybody in the pool from today remembers Debbie when she went down that slide.
Right.
Everybody's like, "Oh, that's that lady that went down that
She
slide."
makes an impact.
She's like, "Whoa." And
I was
then, like,
screaming.
yeah,
She was
going
having
around.
fun.
Could you hear me? So it's not.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
You didn't know
I
we
didn't
could
know
hear you.
that.
So
We were on the other side of the pool.
and we're
not
like,
know that.
"That's Debbie."
I was like, oh, I wonder if Debbie's going next. And, I was like, oh, there she is. I was like, get that on video.
yeah, we're like, Debbie.
That's so funny.
Overall, let's say it's still open, right? Headcanon. And me and Maddie wanted to go. Maddie packs a lunch bag for 2 days. She's not going to eat any of their food. We come.
She doesn't even like peanut butter and
Would you-
jelly.
yeah.
That-
Would
I
you-
just
will
learned that.
say, thank goodness, Lauren and Mia, you actually brought the seltzers.
We did.
Thank
We
God,
did.
because the drinks I also didn't like because
Oh.
everybody knows I
They
am
don't
a
have-
beer
they don't have
drinker.
Mick Ultra in space.
I'm a beer drinker, and it
Did
was,
they really not have Mick Ultra?
No.
No,
They had like
didn't have any
they had
domestic
like
beer at all.
Solarium Brew, and she was like,
Yeah.
"What's that close to?" And they're
It
like,
was
"It's an
like-
IPA." And she's
yeah,
like,
they
"Ooh."
Oh, so it tastes
had
like soap.
2
Great.
different IPAs. It was like, do you want strong
only thing they
IPA
had was
or the
IPAs?
stronger IPA?
It was all craft beer.
It was bad. I don't like.
Was it
strong
literally
beer.
bad.
just IPA?
I swear
It
to God.
was like specifically made
And
for
that's
craft beer
cool.
for
the
Yeah.
shit, but it was really strong.
But Debbie was looking for a Mick Ultra, so that's
And I
just
was
not really
like,
what you're gonna get.
Not really
there.
the
or
vibe,
any kind
yeah.
of watered down flavored
Like
beer.
I will say, like Mick Ultra, very large brand. They've saturated many markets. I
Right.
don't
You
think
would
they've
think they'd
gotten.
get up
I
to
don't
the
think they've
Galactic.
gone
Well, it's
intergalactic yet. I just
Miller
not
Lite,
yet.
Haven't
Bud
gone
Light,
interplanetary.
Coors Light. Just give me a light beer, and they were like, "Well, we
The
have
lightest we have is
Peroni for crying out
yeah,
loud.
we
Give
have
me
this
anything.
really dark one." I'm like, okay,
Right.
The lightest one we have is Astral Glitter, and you're like, what?
Sorry.
huh?
But
That
you guys
sounds
brought
like
a couple
a
of seltzers,
really
and I
good time.
literally, I went to the room and I'm like, I'll just have a seltzer.
Don't mind me.
But overall, if Maddie and I were thinking about going, we finally saved up all of our pennies,
Right.
and we're gonna go. Like, what would you tell us? Like, oh my God, we really want to go. I think there's an opening for 2
I would
months
say
from
go
now.
to Paris instead.
So that's from Debbie. All right.
I'd be like, Paris, Disney,
Lauren?
and stuff.
I was going.
Keep in mind, we're huge Star Wars.
I was going a totally different route, and I was
Yeah.
going to give you real advice.
hater.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
don't be embarrassed about getting involved and kind of being really into it.
Oh, that's good advice. That's good advice.
But you
Thank
wouldn't
you,
tell
thank
us
you,
to
thank
not
you.
go.
Advice.
You would be like, that's stupid.
Well,
don't
if
go.
you really want to go, I'm not going to say don't go. I think it's stupid because it's what you make it.
Yeah.
Like we were there to have a good time, and we had a good time.
Oh, I
Sure,
loved it.
Sure, we were confused. Sure, we didn't like the food, but we had a fun time.
Yes, it was
Like I would never say, "Oh, that sucked." You know, like there were things that
Yeah.
could have been better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll never ever say that I regret it.
Right. But get involved. Talk to everybody. Talk to every character. Talk to the people around you. You just like have more fun when you're fully in it instead of being like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" Well, I
Yeah.
don't know. Because then you don't have a mission. You don't really understand
Right.
what the point of the whole thing was.
Yeah.
Which is to have an interactive experience.
Right.
And if you don't kind of let yourself get into it, you're gonna think it's lame.
So
Yeah, like dive in with both feet.
Right.
So I'll say one last thing, but who knows how many tangents this will send us off on. But like I was talking to Debbie earlier today about it. And I was like, I can't help but think about how, like, imagine the resort, instead of it being the super immersive, very luxury and involved product, if it was more like, which this will never happen, but if it was like the Polynesian, that level of like really cool theming and
Right.
everything, but Star Wars.
Right.
What if it was like literally a resort, even if the rooms were the same, maybe a little bigger, or maybe it was the same kind of options like here, just a lot pricier. I feel like that would have had, like, you don't really see Disney take that quick of an L, especially on something that they're like, it's the biggest thing ever.
Right.
You know, demand.
Right.
It's awesome. It's great, whatever. And it closes 18 months later. Like, Disney takes L's, like, especially like box office, all that other, like everywhere. But this was
Not
like
in
a pretty,
that
involved.
of that scale.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you
That
think
was a
that,
huge investment.
yeah,
A
do you
huge
think
investment.
something like that where it's like the cool theming, cool, because even the Airbnbs around Orlando that are themed like that, like pop off. Like
Right,
they're like
right.
$5,000 a week,
Right.
you know?
I
How do you,
think that could work.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because the way that they had it set up, there's no replay value. Like you can't
That's
go
true.
again. Well, I mean, you could. People did. But you just experience the same thing. Like, sure, you can get onto a different path, but you know where it's going to end up and you know what's going to happen. So unless you're okay with that, it didn't seem like there's any reason to return, which is probably
and one thing that
a fail.
that Jenny had said in her video that I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, the people who are going to go would go multiple times, you know,
Right.
like the really committed people. But she had a good point because like the lore of the Halcyon was that it's actually been running since Old Republic times. So then they can actually, right now it's in sequels era, but they could do like, you know, to take a seasonal MMO thing, they can have a new season and then, oh, now it's, you know, now we're in the High Republic era or no,
Right.
Old Republic, whatever. So you can change the eras. So maybe that would eventually have been a plan, but I
Right.
feel like, I don't know. It was very exclusive, which makes sense. Like it was expensive to run. It's not like you're going to
Yeah.
give that away for peanuts.
Right.
But I don't know.
Right.
I think
feel
it
like,
is a little too small to run as a regular resort.
Oh, I don't mean that one
No, I know,
exactly.
I
Like
know.
if that never happened,
But
they
if they
had
tried
like,
it as a
is.
regular resort, I think it would have gotten a huge bump. Like if it was a one night stay instead of two, or
or if it was just
like
normal,
we've all done those
casual.
murder mystery trains.
Right,
like
right.
you know, you do
The
the,
one
murder
in Fort
mystery
Myers.
train.
Have you been on that one? Oh my
the
God,
one in
yes, the
Fort
dinner chain.
Myers.
Yeah, so
you know,
good.
and every 3
So
months
fun.
they change the story.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so okay, every 3 months it's
You
a
wanna
different
entice people
show.
to come back
It's a different show.
Spend more money.
But
Yeah.
for the Star Wars hotel, they could have, like, in my opinion, it was a 2-night stay, but the second day you spent the day at the park. So really,
Yeah,
it
half
wasn't
of it,
2
yeah.
days there. It was 1 day there, and then
And
it
they
was
kind
1
of
day at the
kick
park.
you out and then bring you back.
So I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, why didn't we spend 2 days at the hotel and then day 3 they could have given you free park because you went to the park, but you felt like I'm going to do this mission, but I have to hurry up and get back to the
Right.
room, to the spaceship.
Right.
I don't want to
you know.
lose my money on there. We've been to this
Yeah.
park so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
didn't feel comfortable walking around the park and just enjoying the day at the park, which
Right.
is an awesome park.
Right.
You know, you go to
only have so much
Batu,
time.
and then I felt like, okay, we need to hurry up, get back to the shuttle, get back to
Get
the
our money's
ship.
worth
Yeah,
on
'cause
the
we
ship.
have-
And I wasn't even thinking about
lightsaber
my
training.
money's worth. I was just thinking, I want to stay immersed in this environment.
Yeah, because
because
Toy Story's
I'm in
right there.
costume.
Yeah. I can
Like,
see Buzz
what?
Lightyear
Yeah.
from where I'm standing,
Yeah.
but I gotta go back
It's
to
kinda
my
taking
room.
me out.
costume.
Yeah.
I've got blue contacts in my eyes.
She was
I'm
committed.
Like,
She had face paint and
I'm like,
everything.
I'm in it to win it. Yeah.
Yeah. It
was
So I was
awesome.
like, I have to get back to my spaceship because I'm on a mission. So I
Right.
did not want to go into the other lands. I just
Right.
stayed at Batu.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think I would do the same thing.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
I think that we could have spent 2 days at the hotel, and then the third day, here's your free pass to the park, and just go enjoy your day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we still would have done
Here's your
Rise,
mission, and
Rise
then-
of the Resistance. Best,
Love.
You could
best
skip the line, which I
Love.
loved.
Yeah.
Which is
Best
awesome.
Rise of the
ride
Resistance
ever.
The first time I went on it, it was
So
probably I can't remember. It was like one of the first few days. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got up, none of my family wanted to go with me. I got up, got to the park at like 6:00 in the morning to do the whole rope drop thing. We're all there because you couldn't sign up for the queue until you checked into the park.
Right.
So literally everybody is like lined
Running
up,
in, right.
like past, like I almost called it baggage claim, but like past security, like bulked up, and you're just like staring at them. And then they did let us in. They let us in like 15, 20 minutes early because there were so many people.
It was so
and then
awesome.
and I was like third in line, and I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
you know. So went in, reserved it. Still ended up having to wait like 8 or 9 hours. But we went and saw a movie in Disney Springs. We like chilled out. I was the only one that could go in there because they were like, "Oh, can we go?" I'm like, "No," because you didn't want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So you
You're
guys
dedicated.
Yeah, eat glass. I'm going on the ride. So I literally, it was so good. It was a really long experience too. 30 minutes long.
Because it was
and
long.
I literally like teared up when I was leaving. I was like, that was so good. So
Talk about
It
immersive.
was so good.
oh my god,
It is so good. It really is.
And then, like, right around that time, everybody was talking about the Starcruiser. And so I was like, that's why I was fully committed. I was like, no.
Yeah.
If it's anything like that.
It was
I'm in.
fantastic. The
Yeah.
ride, Rise of the Resistance, was fantastic. They pulled that off from soup to nuts. It took time. It was worth it. It was engaging from start to finish. It was not a 60-second ride. It was
Yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
like a
you were in
20-minute
line, but you were
experience.
engaged while you were in line.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And the whole thing was entertaining.
Yeah,
the prison guards aren't
and
as
even
mean now, but
The Millennium
still.
Falcon was cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had
that
a
was
great
cool.
time.
It was fun.
I thought
Yeah.
that was great.
The people who
and
I'm
we
always
were
in there.
together, so
Yeah.
we had the blue milk. We had that. We
Right.
took a couple of, photos.
We did all of the Star Wars things.
Yeah, we scanned a lot of crates, which we don't know why, but we were told to.
But we did it.
I also did the custom. I spent like the
And then it was
$200 for the
hurry up and get
custom lightsaber. Fab. Love.
We did.
Yeah.
I will say, going from the Star Wars on the, I know it was a box truck.
It looked really cool on the
I
inside.
thought it was awesome.
It doesn't
Why does it
matter what
matter?
it looks
I
like
thought
on
it
the
was so
outside. No one
awesome.
cares.
I
Yeah.
loved it. They take you down.
It's movie magic, baby.
You go back to the planet. You go in a box truck.
It's
You
cool.
go to a back secret entrance where there's absolutely zero line. It's almost like going from Boardwalk Beach Club to
Yeah.
the back
Oh, yeah,
door
yeah, yeah.
of Epcot, which is wicked awesome.
Yeah.
So you go into the back door, and they had ice cold bottle of water.
Yeah.
You got a super cool magic band. They gave you a button. I felt like that was 100%.
Jenny's like, they got buttons.
VIP.
Pin.
I felt
A
that
metal pin.
part.
You got a pin.
Oh,
Pin. Oh, it's not just a
yeah,
button.
yeah.
It's a
I
pin.
gotta.
Not
I
like
don't know
my
why
people
people
were like absolutely roasting.
I
the
thought it was
transport.
100%
'Cause it's
VIP.
the internet.
I loved
Yeah.
it.
Just
I
like,
thought
who-
that was
Because
stellar.
you will never see the outside of that.
Right.
Like, why would they
Would it
decorate
have
the
been better
outside?
if it was a coach bus? Like,
No, I
what's the
loved it.
difference?
I love
Right.
the box
Yeah.
truck.
Do we all have to be in
Because it was
Mercedes
very cool
Sprinters?
on
What's
the
your problem?
inside.
Yeah.
Right. We
Yeah.
don't
Couldn't
need
see
windows,
outside.
and you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Based on what we were
Yeah,
doing
we
there.
were in
Yeah.
space. There's no windows
Anyway.
in space.
So overall,
I loved
you
it.
liked it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had a great time.
Yeah.
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 And you were
Room for
shocked when you saw it
improvement, of
closed.
Huh?
You were shocked when you saw it was closing.
I was.
shocked that it
100%.
closed
I
so
was.
fast.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, I hear it's closing. Got to get in there.
I was
and
just
then,
surprised
no.
that they didn't
Yeah,
have
they
like
were
an
like, no, we're
alternative
already
plan. Like
Yeah.
try out letting people just stay for however long they wanted. Maybe have characters
Yeah,
come
plan
in
B.
and out.
It must have been like, assuming it must have been like hemorrhaging money.
Oh, for
or
sure.
and then they had to like cut it for like some kind of tax write off or something at the end of
Right.
the year.
I mean,
like
if
when
they-
they dump stuff from
If they
Disney
treated
Plus or
it like
something
a
like it's
regular boutique hotel, you go. Sometimes Chewbacca walks through, just like at
Yeah,
any
scale
resort.
it, yeah.
You
Dial
know,
it back.
Daisy and
Yeah.
Goofy just show up,
Oh.
but they have they have Rey or Chewbacca just walk through the atrium and like talk to people.
yeah, like maybe
talk to
don't
people.
go so hard.
Right,
And
but
it probably
have
would
it
have been
be a regular restaurant downstairs
Yeah,
where you have to get a
maybe.
reservation and just have
I
a
think
dinner
it would
show.
have been part of Batu, and you could have gone over there, like you said, for the restaurant, like maybe
Right.
a high-end restaurant.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and you could have
And that could have been
taken the boxcar.
right. That would have been your
People would
entrance
have
into
paid
Hollywood
a lot
Studios.
of money for
maybe
that.
yeah.
I mean, that's like the Grand Californian. You have a direct entrance into California Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be kind of like the equivalent where if you stay at the Star Wars Hotel, you have direct access to Hollywood Studios
Yeah.
via
You're like,
Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Right.
it could have still worked. It didn't have to be part of
Yeah.
a mission.
There had to be more. I mean, none of us are going to know, but there
Yeah.
had to be more to the backstory.
I mean, who knows what
than
they're doing with it?
just close it.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I mean,
like
right now it's
for-
just empty.
yeah.
I saw that there was
Like,
permits
after
for
so
I
awnings.
sad.
Yeah.
There was what?
Permits
after-
for awnings. I
Okay.
don't know what that means, but they had permits.
I love
to
the
get
internet
awnings.
because I love when people are like, "Oh, they pulled permits," and I'm, like,
how
"How'd
do
you
you
know
know
that?"
that?
I love that you
Show
know that.
me.
Or oh, yeah, show it to me, Rachel.
Show it to me, Rachel. I want to see the permits. Please.
Send it to me,
Where are they? Yeah.
No, but or like, oh, they just copyrighted this, and I'm like, you are so fast.
So, and this
I'm
is
like,
probably what it means. And I'm like, all
yeah,
right, I believe you.
Me 6 months after something's already been announced, I'm like, no way. You know, like wow.
When was anyone going to tell me?
Yeah.
Personally, directly.
Well, Lauren, thank you for chatting with us for
course.
probably an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just under an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah. So it's kind of a long one, but we were
Well,
gonna.
we have 3 hours to go.
Yeah, we,
Right,
yeah,
yeah. This is the first installment.
We gotta
of
go
our
bar for
series.
bar. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this
Next,
is part
we'll talk
one
about
of
Wraith Cole
5.
only.
Yeah.
Oh, Gaston.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can we just mention him
Let's.
really quick?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wraith Cole on our specific adventure
Yes.
was Gaston.
He's Gaston.
I called him Gaston the whole time.
Because he looked.
And we're gonna show a picture like right now during this podcast.
That's
Because
Gaston, baby.
It is. And it's us with him, and he was so handsome.
And
was probably
he was
old
the
enough to be
rebel.
my
He
son,
was
but I'm
snarky,
just
and we
saying.
were like, we're following that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
But
was so
he
fun.
took,
I'm buying
he took a
whatever
shine to
he's selling.
us. Like
did,
we
he
were
did.
like the 4 Musketeers on the show.
Yeah. If we do say so ourselves, we were number one characters to him. We were like, right?
He knew our names.
He
He's
did.
like, yeah.
He did. He did.
Sorry.
Sorry, he did.
It's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, that
He
sounds
kept calling
super
me
fun.
mom though, so I don't know if that was appropriate.
Did he really? Yeah. Thanks for talking to us for like an hour. And not knowing, it's kind of unfair. I sent Debbie all of these notes like 3 days ago.
Right.
Yeah,
You didn't get any of them.
Which is why I don't remember the name of the singer.
Today I was like, oh,
I didn't
damn.
read the notes.
I was like, Lauren, you were there too.
There's a
Get in
microphone
here.
right
That's
there.
also why we have 2 mics instead of 3. Because I was like, Lauren,
Right.
you're going to be in it. She's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, in what?
Sprung it on me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Well, our next episode will just be Debbie and I. Sorry, Lauren. She stays booked.
Oh,
so
she's getting married
Yeah.
next week. She'll be at her wedding.
You wanted to know?
Yeah.
I'll be at my. What'd you say?
Sorry, Wraith Cole. Sorry,
Our
Wraith Cole. She's off the market.
said to Gaston, which is not
Gaston.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, Gaston. I'm
Don't
sorry.
listen to him.
Getting
Oh,
married.
she's dying over there.
It's so
Comedy
funny.
team of one. But our next one will be me and Debbie. We will be talking about our whole trip here to Disney Vero Beach. So that will be our next one. And then the episode after that, we are going to be in our new podcast studio. It's going to be so
my God.
podcast
studio.
Oh my God.
Exclusive scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren, you should come too. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Just send me the notes first next time.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
we're saying is it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Very good.
But I really do
Sorry,
like shooting
the
here.
singer's name was Gaia. I knew I'd
Yeah,
get there.
yeah.
I knew I'd get there. I
He's
just
like,
needed to have
everyone
a moment.
shut up.
We didn't call cut.
I'm
and
gonna
we did
put
it.
like sirens on the thing. Like
Gaia
duh.
alert. Gaia alert.
So you're a big fan. Did you remember the Greedo species one?
No, but maybe I will later
It was
tonight.
like, okay, yeah. Call me
She'll
at 2
text you.
a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll comment on the YouTube video when I remember.
Yeah. All caps. Yeah. All right. Well, that was really fun. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that for like an hour. I don't know. I feel like we were funny. We're talking about stuff. It's fine.
It's
yeah.
fine.
It's
It's always
fun.
fun.
There's
Loved
blue
it.
shrimp. What else is there
It's always fun to talk about Star Wars anyway.
Right. Right.
True.
Yeah.
Well, we will see you guys next time. You won't see Lauren, so say goodbye, Lauren.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, not like, no, just like, like we're signing off.
like,
yeah.
If you really want me to go, I'll go.
right now. Yeah. Actually,
Damn.
go all the way home. You're not even staying here.
Oh,
tonight. Yes.
I don't have my car,
sorry.
so I'm gonna long walk.
Yeah. Well,
Long walk back home.
get those steps in, girl. Yeah. Anyway, but we will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.